Anyways, Madlib. We're back. So, epic first single, again, Road to the Lonely Ones. Really, really, like, say you've never listened to Madlib before, and this is the first song you ever heard. I don't really get what's not to love about it. This would grab you. This would definitely grab you. So, as always, you know, I love that there are these sampled elements on top of these live played instruments, or you know, there's always that mix of real things going on and then things happening inside of a machine. With again, 41 minutes, 16 songs, so not incredibly long. And then songs themselves are usually pretty short, kind of transition in and out. And I guess I'll kick it off by saying that maybe the number one thing that I thought was great about this album is like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe one of the best assets of a Madlib is, yeah, he's like kind of a wizard, but at the same time, there's so many tracks on this particular project that just kind of like, it's not a lot going on, but he always finds a groove. He always finds a rhythm. He always finds kind of a catch. I think that's kind of the nice thing about like instrumental albums. Sometimes they're really good. I think this is simple enough to enjoy many times over, but I think it's nuanced enough to kind of go back a second time, a third time, a fourth time, and still get something kind of new out of it each time. And I think we got some Freddie Gibbs freestyles over two of these.
Hollywood skating down the fucking street. Hey, nigga, bang, bang, skeet, skeet, bang, bang, skeet, skeet, sell dope.
They're on that Cocaine Rabbit Instagram if you want to check. Well, actually, Madlib posted them too on the Quasimodo Instagram as well. He's just bullshitting, you know, just like going over some of these. But this is a great project to start from the beginning and play it. This is a great project to start halfway through it and start playing it. This is a great project to pull songs out of it for playlists. Yeah, I guess I don't know much more to say about it than just that. It's basically everything I expected from a Madlib album.
Right. Whenever I listen to Madlib's shit, I always get like this kind of futuristic sense. You know, like it almost has like a kind of a funkadelic, like futuristic kind of feel to me. And especially when I was looking at the album art, because the album art is a fucking trip, you know, with the circle and all, you know, the sorts of, just some of like the sounds that he pulls out make me feel like he's like envisioning a completely different world, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, and again, simple enough to where I kind of get that sense of it early. You know, I kind of get where he's going, but also nuanced, complex enough, goated enough that it's just going to take me some time to kind of think about what he had in mind for a lot of these projects. And I'll probably never know that, but or for these songs. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have anything else to say about it. This is definitely something that's going to take me another couple of weeks of just listening to really get an honest feel for it. I can tell I love it. I can tell I really, really enjoyed my first few listens with it, but I also feel like I'm going to get more out of it like once we're done doing this review.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say, I guess, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I think it's probably going to take me a little while to like really appreciate it. But I will say that like I'm looking at his last like couple releases and stuff, and it's like, okay, The Professionals with Ono, obviously Bandana, the Med albums, all this stuff is like kind of it's kind of clean for Madlib. Like all that stuff is like kind of like polished up for what Madlib did prior to that run of albums.
Okay.
Because I mean, you go back to like the Beat Conductor stuff, the Rock Conductor stuff, even Champion Sound. I feel like
I love Champion Sound.
Dilla, Dilla was the cleaner moments on that album. I think Madlib always has had kind of like a penchant for like he's such a sponge. Like he just like absorbs
Yeah,
like all influence and all sound, and he kind of like I mean I'm sure that's why he's kind of like a recluse in a way. Like he has all this information in him, and when you get like an album like this, and pardon my French, I guess because it's more jazz oriented, obviously, I think you get stuff that like is weirdly for like this era of Madlib like not the norm, but I mean you go back far enough in Sound Ancestors, I feel like this fits in so well with like I'm looking back at like the medicine stuff and you know 2000s Madlib, like that kind of stuff was like all like this because it's way more like jazz influenced. But man, like a couple of these tracks on this thing, like
I liked what you said about him
right away. I was like, this is so cool.
Oh, sorry. I liked what you said about him kind of being a sponge for all different kinds of music, because I thought he put some really baseline, enjoyable elements into a few different musical styles, whether that be having a little bit of a rock moment. Obviously, being able to put jazz into this in a very competent way because of his experience in it, the hip hop elements of it, and just kind of whatever he wanted to put into it, especially if it was a non-American kind of sound. His ability to transmute that stuff is what makes this kind of a really cool project.
Yeah, I mean, he spends like what 90% of his time just like listening to records. Like, is like, how do you? I mean, honestly, not everybody is like that. Where I mean, I could probably listen to like music for most of my life, like spend most of my time doing that, and I wouldn't be able to retain as much like information and like the ability to like put those sounds and take those cues and stuff and make like an actual
all in a collage together,
a new iteration of that, and you know, like it's pretty incredible. But like I mean, there's a couple songs on here, like I said, it's gonna take me a while to like kind of settle back into that type of Madlib album, you know. But there's a couple songs like I thought that like the 3 tracks in the middle, Hop Rock, Rhythm Chant, and Sound Ancestors, I thought all 3 of those had like super great rhythm, super great like vibes right off the bat, and actually reminded me a lot more of like Donuts era Dilla. Like I thought
I noticed that too. Yeah,
a lot of those like you mentioned the percussion, I think is obviously like the main feature of this project, but I mean some of those like the dustiness on some of those like bass drums and stuff, like that's so like that great producer era, you know. I don't know, I really liked it.
Yeah, I appreciate what you said there, because that's another thing that makes this album experience really worth it. Like, yeah, there's definitely some out there Madlib, kind of like if you're not really a fan of the abstract or artsy, you know, stuff, I guess, or just what, you know, that like what Madlib is kind of liable to do. Yeah, you might be a little thrown off by that, but there are enough like really simply enjoyable moments in here to keep you going throughout the project. And I think this is a great kind of ear opener, mind opener for some listeners, because it's been a while since Madlib has just kind of done a project like this. And again, it kind of reminded me of Knowledge in the way that he is not always a dude that's just going to come out and do like a real deal studio album and promo it, drop singles, do the whole 9 yards, basically.
Right.
And so, you know, always making music, but not always giving you that, and giving you something that's supposed to kind of like open you up to even more fans and whatnot. I'm interested to find out by like the end of this year which of those 2 albums I'm gonna like more, because the 1988 one is really awesome for different reasons, but also does the same thing in terms of gives you those moments that you're going to instantly enjoy, and then makes sure to pepper in all those things that really make it a knowledge or a Madlib project that really make it different than anything that anybody would really offer you. And I don't see why I wouldn't be listening to this at least somewhat pretty often, like down towards the end of the year. So we'll have to see what kind of music drops this year, but already we're getting in that, that list range. And since we're not and since we couldn't do the navy blue shit in the last year, I mean, we already got 2 projects. I feel like I wouldn't be shocked if they're in my top 10 of 2021.
Right. That navy blue shit, man.
I know.
Included in my. If that had been included in 2020, I think that would have beat out a good handful of albums I had in there.